In Season 7, Episode 1, The Walking Dead changed everything when Negan killed not only Abraham, but Glenn too. Everyone knew that one person would have to bite the bullet. The Season 6 finale promised as much, but two, that was kinda crazy. Now, this was all the showrunners' plan all along. There were always going to be two deaths, and those deaths were always going to be both Glenn and Abraham. However, when they released the scripts to the actors, they intentionally tried to misdirect some of the crew, and of course some of the actors, on who would be the real two victims of Lucille. Instead, the scripts handed to the actors, as revealed by Chandler Riggs in a Q&A segment in 2018, instead had three possibilities for these double deaths. One was of course Abraham and Glenn, and the other two included Maggie and Aaron, and then Aaron and Eugene. Poor Aaron, guys, his odds were not looking good, but luckily he did survive. Some people believe they actually planned and shot a death sequence for each individual character, but this is not entirely true. It's a bit more complicated. I'll explain this all in more detail later. So the scripts released had three possibilities for the double deaths, and all three of these were filmed. So somewhere out there is a version of 701 where Negan instead kills Maggie and then Aaron, and then another where he kills Aaron and then Eugene. Eventually, the cast and crew would have had to be told the official double deaths, as they would have had to film the aftermath scenes, plus filming all the following episodes of the season. Now, Chandler Riggs did describe these alternative deaths as not as intense and as thorough, but then this is kind of contradicted by something what Michael Cudlitz said, so I'm unsure exactly what he means by this, but it's quite clear the actors figured out who the real deaths were pretty quickly into the filming. So now I want to address that little elephant in the room. In Season 7, Episode 1, we get these quick glimpses of Negan killing each of the characters with Lucille besides Rick, as Rick is imagining what could happen if he doesn't submit to Negan's rule. A lot of fans think these are the missing deaths, but they're not. These were in fact filmed separately and were literally just what you see in the episode, as far as I can tell, although a little bit more on that later. Jeffrey D. Morgan explains that these kill shots of the entire cast were not just for the dream sequence, but were also filmed to throw off those people who try to spoil the entire show before it comes out. But he goes on to say there were some fully edited versions where Negan kills Aaron and Maggie, and of course we also know there was another with Aaron and Eugene. Now, just to prove that these quick shots in the dream sequence are at least somewhat separate from the fully edited alternative deaths, I want to look at how it goes down for Maggie in the dream sequence. Have a look. Let me just slow that down. And now I want you to watch the full edited version where Negan kills Maggie instead of Abraham. I'm just going to play the whole scene. Hopefully I don't get any copyright issues. Oh, and just for context, the quality is dog ass because this was leaked. So don't blame me.
Anybody moves, anybody says anything, cut the boy's another eye out, feed it to his father, and then we'll start. You can breathe. You can blink. You can cry. Hell, you're all gonna be doing that. Oh, look at that! Taking it like a champ!
These are two different shots entirely, completely different angles. Now that leaked clip was actually released before the Season 7 premiere aired, and from what I can tell, it was most likely done intentionally by AMC to throw off spoiling sites and other fans. After Negan hits Maggie again, there is also speculation that Aaron tells Negan that she was pregnant, to which Negan responds, "That sucks, a 2-for-1 deal," and then Aaron is killed off by Negan. This is all just speculation though, I don't know how true that is. But the events leading up to Aaron being killed is sadly lost. We don't get to see exactly why Aaron gets his head beaten in. Maybe Daryl punches Negan still, and Negan just randomly chooses Aaron. Who knows? I would say it would make sense for Glenn to attack and punch Negan, but of course we see in the leaked Maggie death scene, Glenn is knocked out before Maggie is even killed, so he wouldn't have been able to punch Negan. We also don't get to see the Aaron and Eugene one. However, in an interview, Michael Cudlitz did describe the Eugene death as the following. He says, "I don't remember what everyone did, but I remember Josh McDermott's Eugene. He had something where he couldn't get even a word out, but he was trying to. I remember it being really just horrible. It was literally like murmurs, and then Negan just fucking hit him again. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad." So, yikes. Eugene sounds like his was depressing as shit. And you know what? Considering Eugene's arc was kind of completed in Season 6, or arguably you could say it was sort of completed in Season 6, I don't think it would have been a terrible way for him to go out. Although it would have been sad that he was a whimpering mess in his final moments. Maybe if he had a badass line like Abraham, it would have been better. I digress. Now, this is where I think the confusion about the alternative lineup scenes comes from. Because in this interview as well, Cudlitz goes on to say that every character got their own little line or action after Negan hit them. Of course, Maggie spits blood at Negan. Abraham says, "Suck my nuts." I mean, Michael Cudlitz wanted to say, "Suck my red nuts," but he didn't get the chance. Eugene just kind of murmurs and is unable to get anything else. And all the other characters would have had a little action too. So maybe when they filmed those dream sequence kills, they each had a final little line after being hit, I guess. Good to know. But I think this article and this interview is why a lot of fans believe that they actually filmed an entire segment for each individual character. That's not true. There was only those 3 options. And the scenes that we see in the episode were literally just that, the kill shots. Also, when I was researching, I just see so many fans theorizing that that leaked Maggie scene caused AMC to change the deaths to Abraham and Glenn, so it still would be surprising. This is probably the dumbest thing I think I've heard. It's very dumb because they'd already filmed most of Season 7 by the time this was leaked. You know, the season where Maggie was like a major character and was at the hilltop. You think a leak would make them refilm at least like 8 episodes? No. I think the leak was done intentionally to throw off fans and spoiling sites, or it was just some person at AMC trolling for the shits and giggles. I tried my best to find as much information about these alternative kills, but there really isn't as much as I thought there would be, so that's all I have to say, really. Yes, they did film an initial shot, a kill shot if you will, of every character getting hit by Lucille, which of course was done both to throw off fans and also for that dream sequence. However, in terms of a full sequence like we see in the episode with the whole eeny meeny miny mo part and the reveal of who it is and then the drawn out beating with the final line, this whole process was only done for 3 sets of characters: Abraham and Glenn, Maggie and Aaron and Eugene. But aside from the leaked Maggie segment, AMC have never released the full edited segment with these alternatives, and that's a damn shame. Even if it's just from the eeny meeny miny mo you are it part, and then the beating, and then the final words or actions, that would be enough. Please, AMC, we need to see this lost media. There's so many of these goddamn deleted scenes that you haven't included on the DVD/Blu-ray, and I've just hit my mic. Why can't they release this on the DVD and Blu-ray? Once again, Scotty G, I'm calling you. This is a call for action. Do it. What do you think, though? Did you like Glenn and Abraham being the choice, or would you be interested in a world where one of these other 2 options happened instead? Again, it's not very good for Aaron, poor Aaron, but discuss down below. Thank you to all channel members. We've got Baddie, Just Jordan, August Fisher, Rye, Austin Mann, Jesus, Logan Keeley, Corey, Jack Sokel, Charles, Nova, Gamer J, Tyler B, Beatleaf TTV, That Panda, Ralph Farhar, Slinger, Noxtrix212, Nick Stellino is my gay, Daddy, David Mulligan, True Paranormal, and Scottish Scrub. And a huge, mega, massive shout out to these absolute Walker slaying legends. We have Coda Call, Whatever Comes to Mind, Gavin Keeley, Z Fungi 148, and Turbo Clash G. Cheers.